All right, so this is the Unit 1 review. Question number 1 says, if x and y are positive quantities, so what quadrant would you be in if both of those positive numbers would be negative? In other words, you would have -3 and -4, which of course is the third quadrant, because you're starting clockwise from the upper right, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant. Well, here I'll do it on the piece of paper here. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Okay. Then if you are in the second quadrant here, this section over here, what is the sign of the ordinate? Now remember, abscissa goes along the x-axis, the ordinate goes along the y-axis, so you're above the y-axis, so it will be positive. Next one, we have to graph those points, so I'm going to get my deal here, and I'm going to make the origin right in the middle. So here's the origin, let's say, yeah, right here. So this is the y-axis, here is the, tell you what, let's make it here instead. That looks closer to the center. And then you graph our points over back 5, up 4, over 0, down 6, over 8. Ooh, I don't think we can get that far. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up, nope, down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 3, up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks like a parallelogram. Yep. Looks like a parallelogram. Next, sketch the graph of the function 6 minus 2x, or 3x over 2. You know what? You could do it on a graphing calculator, but I think once you see how easy this one is, you will figure out, oh, I don't need to do that. So we've got y equals -3/2 x plus 6/2, which is 3. So from I'm going to do the intercept first, which is up 3, and from there I'm going to go down 3, forward 2, so my line connects those points like that. Indicate the scale, so each one of these is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is the number 8, so that'll be our scale. Next one. Find the slope of a line. So we're going to find this slope. Remember, it's change in y over change in x. So we're going to go from -2 minus -5 over change in x, -4 minus 3. Well, this is the same as plus 5. -2 plus 5 is 3 over -7. So m equals -3/7. Next one. Graph this function. I think the easiest way to graph one of these is with the graphing calculator. So let's see here. We're going to do y equals, clear, x squared plus x minus, I'm not quite low enough, so I'm going to go from, my y is going to be from -5 to positive 3. And then I think everything will fit on the graph. There we go. Okay, so time to draw my picture. Oops. Nope. Try it again. Time to draw my picture. .5 that way, and then let's go the other direction. 0.5. Okay, now, oops, I'm going to change colors here, and my intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Positive 3 blocks. Okay, and it's going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. And it's back 1 block is where the bottom is. And so using those 3 points, I'm going to draw my graph. So I think it's important that you set the window right so that you can fit your graph onto your graph paper. To approximate, let's see, using a graphic calculator to find the approximate coordinates of the x-intercepts, maximum or minimum. So let's enter this on the graphing calculator. Oops, y equals clear. Okay, so we've got 7 x to the 4th minus 3, oops, clear, 3 x squared plus 5x. Well, one of the x's is 0 because each, no, let's go from negative 3 to 0. There, we're missing a root someplace. Graph. Well, maybe the other root is, run those roots again. So, second, calculate. We're going to calculate the zeros, which is number 2. Left bound is, where are we? Okay. Somewhere between there and here is the first 0. So x is at negative 1.05. That's one of the zeros. Oh, and let's calculate again the zeros. And we've got somewhere between here and, well, the other 0 is at 0. We already knew that though. Okay, so it's negative 1 and 0. And then we're going to calculate the minimum value. And the minimum is between, oops, the minimum is between here and here and The minimum is at negative 0.68 and it goes down to negative 3.29. Write the equation of a line with a rise of 10 and a run of 2 that passes through the point 0, negative 2. Okay, so rise over run, which is 5. So y, negative 2 equals m times x plus b. Well, 5 times 0 is 0, so b is negative 2. Okay, so negative 2y equals 5x minus 2. Next one. The volume of a room is 1980 cubic feet. What is the volume of the room in cubic meters? 1 meter is 3.28 feet. So on our calculator, we're going to take 1980, and then since we're going from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, we're going to get a smaller number, so we're going to divide by 3.28 to the third, and we get about 56. Well, we need 3 sig digs, so 56.1. Angle A has a measure of 72 minus away from 90 is 28 degrees. So you would take 180 minus 28, and its supplement is 152 degrees. What will be the cost to carpet a rectangular room 10.4 feet by 18.2 feet at $1.55 per square foot? So 10.4 times 18.2, and then at $1.55 per square foot, so times 1.55. It says you are allowed to buy a fraction of a square foot and there is no sales tax. Really? I didn't know that. $293.38. Maybe they wanted you to not have to worry about calculating that, because carpet is taxable. Find the area of a triangle, so we're going to have to use Heron's theorem here, or Hero's theorem. When we first of all find the semi-perimeter, which is 5 plus 7.5 plus 10 over 2, so the semi-perimeter is 45 over 4, or 11.25. So we're going to have the square root of 11.25 times 11.25 minus 5 times 11.25 minus 7.5 times 11.25 minus 10. And we get 18.14. What is the diameter of a circle if its area is 360.1 centimeters squared? So we take 360.1 is the area. So if we divide, so the area is pi r squared. So if we divide it by pi, we have to take the square root of it. Square root of 360.1 over pi. That's the radius, so times 2 will be the diameter, 21.4. A room is 25 long, 18 wide, 8.75 high. What is the diagonal distance from one corner to the opposite upper corner? So remember, that's a square root of 3 things, so it's 25 squared plus 18 squared plus 8 0.75 squared, and we get 32. 3 sig digs, so it'd be 32.0 square feet, or feet. A 20-inch diameter steel cylinder is 4.25 inches tall. What is the weight of the object if the density is 485 pounds per cubic foot? Since we want the weight in pounds, let's scope out this problem here. Since we want the weight in pounds, okay, we're going to have 485 pounds per cubic foot. That's the end part, but the beginning part is 20 inches diameter, so that's over 2 squared. 20 inches over 2 squared pi, so it's pi r squared times 4.25, but that's going to be in inches cubed, and we want it in feet cubed, so 1 foot cubed is 1,700, well, it's 12 cubed inches. All right, I think we've got enough information. So we're going to take the fraction 20 over 2, which we already knew was 10, squared pi. Times 4.25 times 485 divided by 1, which you don't need to do, divided by 12 to the third, and we get 374 pounds. That's a pretty big cylinder, 20 inches around, or 20 inches diameter. So it'd be like a maybe like a manhole cover, or a thick manhole cover, and they weigh a lot, I can tell you that. Next one. A conical tank shown below is filled with water at a rate of 125 liters per minute. If the tank is 8 meters deep and takes 6.25 hours to fill, what is the radius of the top of the tank? Equals the radius. Okay. Well, it fills at a rate of 125 liters per minute. 125 liters, that's a volume in a minute, times 6.25 times 60 minutes in an hour. So this is liters. And the tank is 8 meters deep. And we just need to figure out how many liters that is. So this will give us the volume. This part right here is the volume. And the volume of a cylinder is the height over 3 times pi, and let's use, so this is the base, and this is the volume, and since we want the radius all alone, we're going to take that volume divided by 8/3 pi. So it looks like we've got a fraction of is in liters. So we have to change that liters into meters first. 1,000 liters is 1 meter cubed. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got our formula written out here. 125 liters per minute, 6.25 hours, 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 1,000 liters in a meter cubed. So these liters are going to cancel. We're going to have meters cubed left on the numerator. And since we want to get this part has to be squared, so this cancels against its denominator, that cancels, and so we're left with r squared. We're going to have to take the square root of this side. So let's take out our calculator, square root. And we've got a fraction in the numerator of 125 times 6.25 times 60, and it's divided by 1,000 because there's 1,000 liters in a cubic meter, over the fraction 8, which is the height of the cone, thirds, pi. And we get 2.36 meters is the radius, which would be, do they want it in centimeters? It doesn't say. They just want the radius of the top of the tank, 2.36 meters. Next one. Find the area of the trapezoid. Since it's a trapezoid, this base and this base are parallel, and we want to know the area. Area is the sum of the bases divided by 2 times the height. Well, if that's a 45-degree angle and that's a 30-degree angle, this distance is half the height. I'm sorry, twice the height. So this is the height. And of course, this is the height over here, which means these two lengths here are equal. So what we need to do is first off find what the height is by taking 27.4 divided by 2. So the height is 13.7. Now, if that's true, this distance right here is also 13.7. And we need to find this distance here, which is 13.7 square root of 3, because in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, if this is 60 degrees here, this is 1, this is 2, this is a square root of 3, or in our case, this is 13.7, this is 2 times 13.7, and this is 13.7 times the root of 3. We need those so that we can calculate what this length here is. So we're going to take 53.1 minus 13.7 is the area on the left, minus 13.7 square root 3, and the length of the top is 15 2/3 centimeters. 15 2/3 centimeters, or 15.67 It's 13.67. Let's do it that way instead. 0.67. So the area of this trapezoid is the average of the bases, 15.67 plus 53.1 over 2, that's how you find the average, times the height, 13.7, and you get 471 3 sig digs, yep, 471 cubic or square centimeters. Solve the following equation for y. Okay. Let's see here. Multiply out the parentheses. 24 minus 3y plus 5 equals 8 minus 10y minus 28. Combine like terms is, and then combine sides. So this is going to move over here, which means this is going to move over here. So we're going to get this negative 10 on this side is positive 10 on that side. 10 minus 3 is 7y. 24 and 5 is 29. Subtract 29 on this side. So we have these two right here combined to negative 20. Minus 29 more is negative 49. So y is negative 7. Negative 7 times, okay, so 3 times negative 7 is negative 21, minus 5 more is negative 26, no, yeah, 24, minus negative 26 is the same as 24 plus 26, which is 50. Negative 21 times 2 is negative 42, 8 minus negative 42 is the same as 8 plus 42, which is 50. Okay, so it checks. Next one, solve the following equation for W. We want to figure out what W is here. So let's multiply everything by 6. We're going to solve for W by multiplying everything by 6. And we get 2 parentheses. 2 minus 2w equals, multiply this by 6, you get 3 times 5 minus 3w plus 24. Distribute the parentheses, you get 4 minus 4w equals 15 minus 9w plus 24. 9w on this side is positive 9w on the other side. 9 minus 4 is 5w equals, move the 4 over to the other side. 15 and 24 minus 4 is 35. W is 7. Let's check our work. 2 minus 2 times 7 over 3. Does that equal 5 minus 3 times 7 over 2 plus 4? 2 minus 14 is negative 12 thirds. Does that equal 5 minus 21, which is negative 16 halves, plus 4? This is negative 4. This is negative 8 plus 4. So negative 4 equals negative 4. It checks. Next one, a milling process causes a loss of 5.9% of material due to waste. After the milling process was completed, the part weighs 41.8 pounds. What of it was the weight before it was milled? Okay. So this is a percent problem. We have remember, loss is always, percent is always of something. So it's 5.900, and percent means per 100. How many zeros? Per 100. This is loss. This is material. Okay, we know that it used to weigh, it weighs now 41.80 pounds. So instead of getting the 5.9% loss, let's get the after percent. So 5.9 is how much it lost. In other words, it weighs 94.100% afterwards, which is 41.8 pounds. What was the weight before it was milled? So we've got cross multiply 41.8 times 100 divided by 94.1 is 44 pounds, 44.42 pounds.